I feel very called to become a member of the Catholic Church.
Love the Catholic Church. It's just the best place to be.
From the studios of EWTN, this is Open Line. In North America, call toll-free 1-800-585-9396. That's 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985. You can also send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
A tremendous Tuesday to each and every one of you. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your Tuesday to join us here on Open Line. Barbara McGuigan is in the house. If you've got a question or comment for Barbara, the number is 1-800-585-9396. Toll free anywhere in North America. 1-800-585-9396. If you're outside the United States and Canada, we'd love to hear from you. Your number is 1-205-271-2985. And we'll put you straight to the front of the line at 1-205-271-2985. Or you can send us an email, openline@ewtn.com. We're excited to welcome another new station, now part of the EWTN radio family. Hello to everybody listening on FM 98.3, Light of Truth Radio, WCLP, serving Lake Placid, New York. Congratulations to John and Mara Fellner and the great team at Light of Truth Radio. Again, welcome to all of our new listeners hearing us on FM 98.3, Light of Truth Radio, WCLP, serving Lake Placid, New York, the newest member of the EWTN radio family. I'm Jack Williams. The lovely and talented Elena Rodriguez produces the program, and your call screener is Mr. Matt Gubensky. Our hostess, as she is every Tuesday, our very own pro-life warrior, Barbara McGuigan. Barbara, how are you?
I couldn't be better. Too blessed to be stressed, as they say.
Well, I feel like I need to sit up straight in my chair because we've actually classed up the joint here with a show-nuff legitimate journalist on the phone, and I think that...
That is wonderful. I am thrilled. Go ahead, introduce her, Jack.
Well, you see her on EWTN News Nightly, and she is spearheading our coverage at the Republican National Convention this week, and we welcome to Open Line Lauren Ashburn. Lauren, thanks so much for taking some time to join us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Hi, Lauren. Oh, my goodness. It's so nice to meet you, and thank you for jumping on with us. And I understand that you are EWTN's chief White House correspondent and political director. And you are now in Cleveland, am I correct?
That's correct. We're sitting in the skybox right now overlooking a beautiful red, white, and blue convention center, waiting for all of the speeches to start at 5:30.
Wow. So now you started yesterday. How did it go yesterday?
So yesterday was a little bit chaotic on the floor. There was a bit of division over rules and setting rules for the convention.
Right.
But all that was for naught. I think it finally vanquished the never Trumpers who have been trying to thwart Donald Trump. And so by the speeches last night, everybody seemed to be unified, and everybody seemed to be cheering on all of the different speakers, especially Melania Trump.
Oh, wasn't she beautiful? I thought she did an excellent job. Just such an elegant, intelligent lady, right?
Yeah, well, she seems to be that way. I've never met her. And it's unfortunate that there has been some controversy around her speech, comparing it to Michelle Obama's speech in 2008.
Well, there were a few sentences that were pretty much the same after I read it. Of course, I didn't recognize it as I listened, but what's the scoop on that?
Well, if you look at them, you say there are some, she says that your word is your bond and you do what you say you're going to do, and that's from Michelle's speech. And then you listen to Melania's speech, and it says that your word is your bond and you do what you say and keep your promise. And so there are many of those sort of instances where it seems like it is very similar language. The media took it and ran with it here. And
you know it.
Yes. And
how did it happen, though? Somebody's going to get canned, right? I mean, that's...
The Trump campaign says no. And so that, they've come out very forcefully on it and have said, that nobody's going to get canned and that nobody... that they didn't steal it, and there was another controversy that said that Melania had said to NBC News, which she did, that she wrote the speech, and then the campaign came out at 1:48 this morning and said, no, it was a speechwriter, and then the reports from sources saying Donald Trump is furious, and so it's just been this ongoing narrative. And if you're at the convention right now, there are very few delegates who are roaming around on the floor. It's pretty much just very few people, and everybody waits to come for the speeches. And so any little bit of news like this is something that will occupy people's attention. And I think that's why it's unfortunate that it happens.
Yes, it gets you off topic, off message, off everything, and it's unfortunate that it happened, and that's old hairy legs in the mix. I have no doubt about it. But Jack, you want to ask Lauren a question too, yes?
Yeah, Lauren, we're hearing a lot of rumblings from some folks on the streets here in the South that there was a lot of problem identification last night, but not a whole lot of proposed solutions. What's what kind of a barometer are you getting from the people inside the building over there in Cleveland?
I think there is some truth to that, in that the themes, every day has a different theme, and yesterday was Make America Safe Again, and today is Make America Work Again. And so what we've been finding is, Make America Safe Again. We had a lot of Benghazi talk about people who were blaming Hillary Clinton for what happened in Benghazi, but the criticism on that is that there was not a specific, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. Now, on the other side, that's not what conventions are about. Conventions are really about rallying the base and building the excitement to Thursday night, when Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee, not just the presumed Republican. And so I think that you'll see some more of that tonight with Make America Work Again. They put up all of these videos while people are waiting, and there were a series of them with governors that had been taken from across the country. And the one line from the North Carolina governor that resounded among the delegates was, we need to help people like plumbers and electricians and working class people who are hurting and who need jobs, and we need to get out of the Beltway in order to do it. And the cheers in this room were definite.
So they have a trade, right? They need to learn a trade, yes?
Yes. Well, I think people are just hungry for economic change.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Yes, and it's good. And Donald Trump, I believe, can do it. I believe he's employed thousands of people. I believe he's got the talent to put something into place, don't you?
Well, as a journalist, I think that if you look at the way that he has blamed 16 other people who have come before him, and the way that without an advertising budget and without a high-powered, seasoned political staff, that he has been able to march through this field and dominate, says something about what people want in a candidate. And on the other side, you do have to look at the polls, and I think nationwide, there's the real clear politics average has them running neck and neck, and it has Hillary Clinton up in some battleground states. So while he is really the master at this convention, it's going to come down to duking it out with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's for sure. But you know what? I was thrilled. I have the text of the pro-life platform, which the Republican Party has always had a pro-life platform, at least since 1980, I think, when they really came out with a strong pro-life. But the way they have it, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this one part, Republican leadership has led the effort to prohibit the barbaric practice of partial birth abortion, permitted states to extend health care coverage to children before birth. We urge Congress to strengthen the Born Alive Infant Protection Act. I mean, there's so much in there. I was just wanting to jump up and down. Have they mentioned anything about that as far as the platform goes? Probably not yet.
And we'll have guests on this evening who can talk to that but they are banning late-term dismemberment abortion, which is the strongest language that we have heard. We had Representative Martha Blackburn on yesterday, who was in charge of the committee, the platform for abortion last year, 4 years ago, excuse me.
She's great, isn't she?
And she said that this language was not even brought up. So this is really...
Whoops. Did we lose her?
And unfortunately, I think we may have lost Lauren Ashburn, but we certainly thank Lauren for taking the time to join us here on EWTN's Open Line. And be sure to tune in tonight, I believe at 8 Eastern Time for coverage. Check your local listings, and it's available at EWTN.com, and you can find out where you can catch Lauren's coverage of the Republican National Convention. And once again, we thank her for taking some time to join us. Now we'd like to hear from you at 1-800-585-9396. Toll free anywhere in North America, 1-800-585-9396. Open Line Tuesday with Barbara McGuigan.
It's the start of a new day for Morning Catholic Radio.
To be in the presence of the academic dean, instructor of moral theology and pastoral studies, and vice president at the Dominican House of Studies, Father Thomas Petrie. Man.
Doctor of Sacred Theology, Order of Preachers.
Well, check out the big brain on Brad.
We love the Dominicans.
Morning Glory, Catholic from the start. Weekday mornings, 7 Eastern on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Podcasts of Open Line are available within 24 hours of live broadcast. Go to EWTN.com and click on Multimedia. Get an insider's look at the latest information from EWTN. Sign up for Wings, EWTN's weekly email newsletter. Get the latest information about live events, special features, and guests. Connect with EWTN on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Just go to EWTN.com and click on the Wings link to sign up. Don't miss a minute of all that's happening at EWTN. Get your wings today.
This is Open Line on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. If you have a question or comment, call 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985 or send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
Hey, we've got a great new offering from EWTN Publishing, Mother Angelica's Answers Not Promises. Straightforward solutions to life's puzzling problems, a new softcover edition of Mother Angelica's profoundly practical, humorous, and common-sense answers to life's most vexing questions. It was first published nearly 30 years ago. This book remains as relevant and timeless as ever, and this new edition includes a special foreword by our own Father Joseph Mary Wolfe. And that's available now at EWTN Religious Catalog. Just log on to EWTNRC.com. 1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. 1-800-585-9396. Again, if you're outside the United States and Canada, 1-205-271-2985, and we'll put you straight to the front of the line at 1-205-271-2985. 85, or you can send us an email, openline@ewtn.com. And if I can clean up a little bit of my own mess here, 6:30 Eastern Time tonight, EWTN News Nightly Special from Cleveland, and that will be spearheaded again by our own EWTN Chief White House Correspondent Lauren Ashburn, and we thank her once again for taking some time to join us. Barbara, I've got an email. You want to take a swing at this?
Of course, be happy to.
Says, hi, Barbara. I hope you'll answer this email today. Well, your hopes have come true. I have a daughter about to enter college in the fall. As a baby, she received the chickenpox vaccine as it was a new thing at the time and required. Now states are requiring a second dose of the vaccine as these children progress through the education system. I am really on the fence about this because, one, I fear the vaccine contains aborted fetal lines, and two, if I do not get her the vaccine, as a woman, if this original vaccine did not take care of what it was supposed to do, and she does not follow up with this follow-up dose, I'm concerned that, in her childbearing years she could get chickenpox and therefore expose an unborn baby she may be carrying to a life-threatening situation. Would you talk about this, please? And P.S., she says, I love the show. And then she says, P.S., I called the college and was told that the doctor on staff thinks that my concern and others is based on false information out there. And it was intended to stir up the public. I saw the chart.
How do you like that?
Yeah. I saw the chart at COG for Life that shows there are no alternatives in the United States.
And that is true. And, I consulted my friend and expert, Debbie Vintage, Children of God for Life. And because I had a couple questions as well, because this is the first time I've heard that they're now requiring a second dose of the varicella vaccine. And so I asked Debbie, I said, is a second dose the same amount as the first that was taken as a baby? And then how would she go about finding out what fetal cell line is involved? And so anyway, Debbie got right back to me, and that's right. The second dose of Varivax is what it is. It's the chickenpox vaccine, is the same as the first dose she would have gotten as a baby. And the aborted fetal cell lines are listed in the package insert. Very simple. In section 11, I have the, I'm going to email this off to her as well. Anybody who wants it, I will too. But Varivax is called, that's the varicella virus vaccine live. And it's a preparation from the Oka Merck strain of live attenuated varicella virus. The virus was initially obtained from a child with wild type, they call it, varicella, then introduced into human embryonic lung cell cultures, adapted to and propagated in embryonic guinea pig cell cultures. Can you imagine? And they're shooting you up with this, right? And finally propagated in human diploid cell cultures. Once again, we know where this came from, WI-38. That's one of the aborted baby strains. Further passage of the virus for varicella vaccine was performed at Merck in human diploid cell cultures, and that's the other, MRC-5. The product also contains residual components of MRC-5 cells. And here's the real problem here, including DNA from the aborted fetuses and protein as well. So as far as the maternal worries in the future, Debbie recommends that she should have a titer, T-I-T-E-R, test done, which is a very simple blood test to see if she has sufficient immunity left from her first shot as a baby. And then if not, she will have to decide whether or not to get the vaccine, which may require additional booster shots in the future. One of the main problems with this vaccine is that immunity doesn't last. However, a person can develop what is known as subclinical immunity, meaning that her immune system could have been bolstered. It's amazing how the body works. If she was around people, Jack, who had chickenpox, this can bolster up your own immune system, even though maybe she did not contract the disease herself at all. So what Debbie recommends is the titer blood test first, and then go from there, taking all things to prayer. And also, she sent me another website called babycenter.com, and you look up the chickenpox during pregnancy 9329.bc. Okay, and it's all about the timing. As they say, timing is everything, right? So it really depends on when the mother contracts the disease as to what the effects might be on her baby. And and this is a very good paper that, if we need to bring out parts of it, I can certainly do that. But so that's the answer, and that is from an expert.
So hopefully our emailer will find that helpful to them regarding the chickenpox vaccine. And what?
Right.
And Barbara, what about how familiar are you with the potential risks of the disease itself to a pregnant woman?
Okay, well, in this particular article, which I read, since so many adults are immune, not many pregnant women get chickenpox. The estimates range from 1 to 7 cases for every 10,000 pregnancies. So that's pretty slim. But if you're not immune and you do happen to catch the disease while you're pregnant, you could get quite sick, and there's a small chance that it would affect your baby. Small chance. If you're not sure whether you're immune or not, that's where that titer test comes in. Once again, a simple blood test is all you have to do. You ask for a titer test, Titer. And so then what happens to the baby if you get chickenpox while you're pregnant? Well, the chances are good that no harm would come to your baby. But there again, like I said earlier, timing is a factor. If you get chickenpox during the first or second trimester of pregnancy, there's a slight risk, probably less than 2% overall, that your baby will get something called congenital varicella syndrome, CVS they call it. The risk is highest if you're infected between 13 and 20 weeks gestation. So it actually breaks all of this down, and if you get chickenpox early in the third trimester of pregnancy, your baby will probably be fine. And this is why they say about 5 days after you come down with chickenpox, this is so amazing, your body develops antibodies to the virus and passes them to your baby, of course, through the placenta, offering protection that his own immature or her own immature immune system couldn't provide on its own. It's really kind of amazing. So if let's say you develop chickenpox 5 to 21 days before your baby is born, he might or she might develop chickenpox, but because of the antibodies that he or she received from you, it's much less likely to be serious.
Well, I'll tell you, you said that there's a chance if a pregnant mother contracted chickenpox, there's a chance that they could become very ill. I can tell you right now, they will become very ill. I had chickenpox as an adult, and probably should have been hospitalized.
Really?
Oh, it was, and my wife was out of town at the time.
Oh,
and I'm home with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and the 4-year-old had chickenpox, and I and the 1-year-old had them currently, and my wife was about 4 hours away in Minneapolis, and she called home, and based on the conversation that I don't remember having with her, she snagged the first flight out of there and got back home. So it's very, very debilitating for an adult. Neither one of my kids acted like it even bothered them. So,
gosh. Well, but you know what? It's probably good that you did get it, so you may not get shingles then if you've already had a good case of chickenpox, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, let's hope.
It's awful. It's awful. I mean, it's really awful as an adult to get, yes. But anyway, that was good news to me, because I know that if, like I said, if you get it, in the first trimester or first or second, there's just a slight risk. I always thought it was a huge risk the first trimester, but the risk is highest if you're infected between 13 and 20 weeks gestation.
1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. That's toll-free anywhere in North America. 1-800-585-9396. If you're outside the United States and Canada, your number is 1-205-271-2985, and we'll put you straight to the front of the line at 1-205-271-2985, or you can always send us an email, openline@EWTN.com. Coming up a little bit later on EWTN Radio, Cresta in the afternoon. Lauren Ashburn's going to be doing double duty today. She'll be back on Al's show during the first hour, reporting again live from the GOP convention in Cleveland. And in hour number 2, Al will talk to Dan Philpott. Is religious now a culture war issue on our common heritage? I think is religion now a culture war or our common heritage? And you know what, Barbara, if I would read these things beforehand, I wouldn't sound like an idiot.
You don't sound like an idiot.
1-800-585 9396 is our toll-free number. Straight ahead, we'll talk to Bob in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And we've got plenty of time for your questions and comments on an open line Tuesday with our pro-life warrior, Barbara McGuigan.
Welcome to EWTN's Catholic Almanac.
Today is July 19th, and on this day in 1950, Pope Pius XII called for public prayers for peace. He said we risk ruin, death, and misery with war, and peace can be brought about only through fervent prayer and penance. Also today, the Church remembers Saint Macrina. She was the eldest sister of Saints Basil the Great and Gregory of Nyssa. She headed a religious community founded by her father until her death in 379 A.D.
Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." He was making the assumption that we love ourselves. And love is expressed in actions, not just feelings. So, do you love yourself in action? I know, the demands of life make you feel selfish when you take a break from studying or working or taking care of the kids to get, quote, me time. But when you don't care for yourself, you're leaving your loved ones with the worst version of you, tired, haggard, burnt out. And if you're a parent, what's that communicate to your kids about their dignity and worth when they learn by example that self-care isn't important? So if not for your own sake, do it for those who love you. Spend time indulging yourself in things that inspire you so you can live an inspired life and be an inspiring person. Read a good book, eat a little sushi, take a walk, watch a movie, work out, take an extra long shower. You know what? You're worth it. God thinks so. This is Chris Stefanik from RealLifeCatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
Check out EWTN's official YouTube channel. Just follow the link on our homepage at EWTN.com or go to YouTube.com/EWTN.
Watch EWTN's live shows or today's homily from the Daily Mass.
Click the upload button to see our most recent clips.
You can also find all of EWTN YouTube content by clicking the playlist button.
It's all on the official EWTN YouTube channel at YouTube.com/EWTN. Visit today.
This is Open Line on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. If you have a question or comment, call 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985 or send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
Tonight on Mother Angelica Live Classics, Mother talks about how to keep your eyes on God. That's tonight at 8 Eastern on EWTN Radio and television. To the phones we go. Our leadoff hitter today is Bob in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Bob, you're on with Barbara McGuigan.
Hi, Bob.
Hello, how are you? I'm doing fine.
Great.
Thank you for answering my call. My question, to make it fast, is about excommunication. I'm not proud of myself. I'm a drug addict, which I don't do anymore. And I also drank probably a little bit too much alcohol. And what I've been doing is I would go to church and receive the sacraments, and I'd go out, and because of temptation, I would get into the same sinful nature again, back and forth. You see what I mean?
I see what you mean. Sounds like an addiction to me. Yes.
Well, I do. I'm an addict, but like I said, I don't participate anymore. I belong to a Catholic church. I do receive reconciliation, and I do receive Holy Communion. But the bottom line, because of my lifestyle before that, getting away from the church and getting back, it wasn't just a one-time thing where I got my senses. It was like I've been fighting the addiction for some time, and finally, I don't do that anymore. And but in the meantime, while I was trying to give it up, I was trying to get back to the Catholic Church too.
Well, God will honor all your good intentions. He will honor that. But when you are addicted to a substance, even shopping, right? It doesn't have to be a drug or alcohol, but any kind of addiction. Your free will is somewhat suspended for a period of time, right? I mean, you rely on God's grace to pull you out of it, but sometimes you need more than that. I mean, grace is sufficient. I'm not saying that's not the case, but counseling, group therapy, whatever, Alcoholics Anonymous, that whole thing. But did you make a good examination of conscience, Bob, before you went to confession? Have you confessed your concern?
Well, I did the times I did go, but it might be a week later or some days later. It was just around probably my circle of bad friends, but anymore, like I says, I'm not living that lifestyle, and I've made a good confession. I've talked to my priest at the church I go to face to face.
Sure.
And
so why did you think you were excommunicated?
Well, because I heard one of your talks. I listened to the Catholic radio station here that comes from Omaha, Nebraska, just about on a daily basis. And one time they were talking about excommunication, and the old guilt hit my heart. It hit me just real hard thinking about my continuance of just trying and trying and trying, and now my heart and my mind and my life is to live for Christ. I don't know how else to say it, and to do His will.
But that's such a beautiful thing, and sometimes God permits us to go through some very serious trials. But He will work good out of these trials. He will work good out of these addictions. And you can be a great voice against these things. I mean, you look at Alcoholics Anonymous, for one. Who are the ones, the leaders in the groups? Former alcoholics. Drug addicts, same thing. Former drug addicts. You might want to, if you feel like you want to atone, it sounds to me like you feel like you may want to atone for your past. We all need to atone for our past, for whatever sins we've committed. We need to be, have compunction, have sorrow, and true repentance. So have you ever thought of getting involved as a leader in Alcoholics Anonymous or drug rehab, something like that?
I do see two counselors about my problem, and but they're not. I don't see them in a spiritual sense. I see them. The one that happens to be at the VA. I don't want to over talk myself here, but I see one at the VA because I have I served in Vietnam, and I'm on some medications for some of the things I brought back home from Vietnam.
Sure.
But I wasn't living that lifestyle when I came back at all. It just started after my divorce 10 years ago. And that's when I slowly sank away, and I slowly got this.
But you know what? That's all the past now. Put that behind you. You have a future now. Now you work on the future, not on your past, provided you made a good examination of conscience and you went to a holy priest to hear your confession, and you are absolved. He takes the place of Christ Himself. When you walk out of that confessional, Bob, you are seen by God as whiter than snow. It's a beautiful thing. The sacrament of reconciliation. It's such a beautiful thing.
That guilt-ridden by my own means because of my past.
Well, that's. I hear you with that, but what I'm saying is, the guilt. Sometimes to alleviate guilt, you need to atone. You see, when you're helping others not to make the same mistakes that you made. We all make mistakes. We're all sinners. We all choose sin, You have to choose it, right? Nobody forces you. But when it's in an addiction phase, I mean, that's kind of a different ballgame. That's why addictions are so terrible, because when your free will is suspended, that is not a good situation to be in. So, but you know what? Just ask God to use you in whatever way. Ask the Holy Spirit, please use me however you think I could best be used for God. I want to be great for God, say. How can I be great for God? And you watch how you will be used by God. If you want to be used by God, you'll be used. And it sounds to me like you would like something like that. So I thank you, good man, for calling. God bless you. And we'll pray for each other, okay?
Much for answering that call. And your words are spiritual, and your wisdom that you've given. And I'm going to hit Mass at 5 o'clock here in Omaha. So.
Praise God. Praise God. Well, let's pray for each other, Bob, okay? That's my husband's name, so I'll remember your name for sure.
Pray for me. I appreciate that.
All righty. God bless, good man.
1-800-585-9396 is our toll-free number. Still plenty of time to talk to you today on Open Line Tuesday with our pro-life warrior, Barbara McGuigan. 1-800-585-9396. Open Line Tuesday rolls on.
Youth ministry has always been a top priority for the church. I devoted most of my life to it. John Paul II started a phenomenon called World Youth Day, a gathering of young people from around the world with the Pope. It's typically the largest event the Vatican offers the world. That's not just because of what we have to give young people. It's because of what young people have to give the church and the world when they open their hearts to God. Some of the greatest saints in the history of the church were teenagers. And those who weren't, it's only because they lived longer. Holiness plus youth equals unstoppable force. In the words of John Paul II, no difficulty, no fear is so great that it can suffocate the hope that springs eternal in the hearts of the young. The young are our hope.
This is Chris Stefanik. Complete coverage of World Youth Day 2016 from Krakow starts July 27th, only on EWTN, the Global Catholic Network.
EWTN is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If your cable or satellite provider doesn't carry EWTN's full programming lineup, give them a call and let them know you would like to receive EWTN 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
For more information, go to EWTN.com and click on television.
Tomorrow on EWTN Radio's Open Line, Father Mitch Pacwa takes your calls about the Bible, the Church, and the writings of the Pope. 3 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
This is Bishop Paul Bradley of the Diocese of Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Hi, this is Tim Staples from Catholic Answers Live.
This is Father John Riccardo. Thanks for listening to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
This is Open Line on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. If you have a question or comment, call 1-800-585-9396. Outside North America, call 1-205-271-2985 or send an email to openline@ewtn.com.
A little bit later on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network, 6 p.m. Eastern to be more precise, 2 hours of Catholic Answers Live. Open forums. In hour number 1, it'll be Tim Staples. Hour number 2, senior apologist Jimmy Aiken. That's at 6 Eastern right here on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network. Back to the phones we go. Jim is in the great state of North Dakota listening on Real Presence Radio in North Dakota. Jim, you're on with Barbara McGuigan.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Barbara. Thanks for all you guys do. I'm just calling in regard to the last caller, actually. I still struggle with some of the accepting God's forgiveness and things like that. And I spend time in adoration, and that, to me, has been, well, of course, His saving grace.
Yes.
He's there, and He listens, and there are some days I walk out of there feeling awesome.
I can relate, Jim. I can relate. I can be so messed up in the head when I go into adoration, and I come out, and it's just like I'm a whole new person. So that's so great. And listen, don't ever think that God doesn't want to forgive you. He loves you. Why wouldn't he want to forgive you if you are sorry? And you are, yes?
Absolutely. But, I was raised, you earn everything, nothing's given to you. So it's a concept that, it can be tough to take,
But it's one of the greatest attributes of our great God is his mercy. All we have to do is go to him in sorrow. That's it. And then repent, of course. That's what we go to confession, and then they give us. You know what? Another thing, more frequent confession would be a good thing, too. You don't need to reconfess sins that have already been forgiven, though. You know that, right?
Well, I know that. It's just the same, I tend to fall into the same sin. So, you feel like
okay. Well, in that case,
sin,
yeah, of course. Then you would need
that kind of thing. But, it's, everybody has their demons they deal with. And
yes.
But yeah, adoration is, it's been my saving grace. There's some days I can literally feel him take this weight off my back.
Yep. I know. It's truly amazing. This one time I went into adoration, and we have a beautiful mosaic. It's like bigger than life size. Jesus on the cross, the crucified Christ on the cross. It's so beautiful. And I just had knee surgery, and I was hobbling around, and I'm trying to, everything. It hurt so bad, and I'm on pain medication, and I knelt in the front pew, right in front of this beautiful mosaic of Jesus on the cross. It's so beautiful, and I focused on, my eyes just went to his knee, and because like one knee's kind of behind the other, but I looked at his knee, and it was bloodied and raw, and I thought to myself, oh my goodness, and I'm belly aching about this pain in my knee, and look at his knee. And you know what? The next time I was in church, just a few days later, to go to Mass, there wasn't any bloodied raw knee on that crucifix. Not even. And I just kind of gasped inside, like, my goodness, I know what I saw. I knew what I saw. And so I'm just so grateful to God for that experience, because it just showed me, unite your pain with his. Unite it with his. And if you have the pain of addiction, whatever it may be, unite that with that crown of thorns on his head, because it's like a crown of thorns on your head sometimes, right? With an addiction. You so want to be free of it. Jim, I'm thankful you called, good man. That was a great point you brought out. There's nothing like adoration other than receiving the Eucharist. I mean, you receive the Eucharist, you're just as close to Jesus as Mary was when she carried him in her womb. You're just as close to him when you receive the Holy Eucharist, body, blood, soul, and divinity, food for our body, blood, soul, and humanity. You're just as close to him as Mary Magdalene was when she sat at his feet. It is something else. Thanks be to God to be Catholic. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate the phone call. That opens up a line for you at 1-800-585-9396. That's toll-free anywhere in North America. We'd love to hear from you at 1-800-585-9396. That's the number Juan used in Little Elm, Texas, listening to EWTN on Guadalupe Radio. Juan, you're on with Barbara McGuigan.
Hi, Juan.
Hi, Barbara. I have a question on feeling guilt from an abortion that was done in 1987. My brother's girlfriend, she came to me and showed me the money that my brother had given her for the abortion. It was like $350.
Oh, gosh.
And I told her, don't have the abortion. Go shopping and buy baby clothes.
Oh, that's a great thing to say. So what do you feel guilty about?
Well, she would not have the abortion.
Oh.
And I don't know if she was asking for more help than I was able to give her at the time. I was 17, she was like 16.
Oh. Well, you know what, Juan? You're beating yourself up over this, and you really did the best you could at that time. Now you're wiser, right? You're older, you're wiser. You wish, we all have that, don't we, Jack, where we wish we would have said more or said this or said that we didn't say?
Ain't no doubt about it.
So don't beat yourself up over this. You were 17 years old. There aren't too many 17-year-old boys that I've been up against that really knew all the facts about abortion. You knew enough to say, don't do it. Go buy baby clothes instead. You were not supporting her. Now, did you try to get to your brother about this at the time?
No, we don't even bring it up.
Ah, he's suffering. You know, you might want to bring it up. If you know that when something's never brought up, generally that's a block right there. That's an impediment. And it could be an impediment to grace as well. If he's still, you don't know, you could ask him. Just tell him that tell him just what you told me, what you told his girlfriend, and that you wish you had said more. But as a 17-year-old, that's what you thought to say. And was he possibly a teenager too?
Oh, yeah, he was 16.
Oh, 16. Okay, so he didn't know any more than you did, right?
Yeah, he didn't know any better either.
Sure, I would go to him. Do you know if he's confessed it? Are you practicing Catholics?
Yeah, I am. I'm the only practicing Catholic of 5 kids.
Oh, I know how that goes.
He goes to church, but he's not married in the church. Just goes to church every so often. But he has a lot of anger issues, and I'm afraid a lot of it comes from. We come from an abusive home.
Oh, sure. I don't doubt that for a minute, Juan, the anger, the issue. But you know what? Here's where you might be playing the role. You might be called. This is what you might be called to do. You pray. Pray first. Go in front of the Blessed Sacrament and say, Lord, tell me what to do. Give me the words to say. Put your words in my mouth. And you can walk out of that church with great confidence. You've got the Holy Spirit with you, Juan. And go to your brother and say, you know what, I sense a bit of anger, and I'm wondering if possibly you are so angry because of what happened when you were 16 with your girlfriend. And see if he will open up to you a bit, and tell him that all he needs to do is to be sorry, which if he's angry, that's usually, you've got some sorrow going on there sometimes. And you need to have it resolved and go to the priest, confess the sin of abortion, his own child. So it's a very heavy thing to have on your heart, to have on your head, on your shoulders. It's very heavy, but you might be able to bail him out. He will be thankful for the rest of his life for you, and you then will feel better about not saying as much as you wanted to say in hindsight, right?
Yeah.
Are you afraid to go to him?
I'm afraid to make him hurt even more.
No. See, this is the problem. Lots of times I hear that certain priests will never bring up abortion because they might make it from the pulpit, because they might make someone feel bad or sad. You want to deliver him, not you personally, but you direct him to God, to the priest who's taking the place of Jesus Christ in the confessional. You want to deliver him. That's why you open up your mouth in a loving, kind way, just like I'm talking now. Not in a forceful way, or, you don't let any anger you may have for not saying at yourself, right? Don't let any of that. Get rid of all that. And just go in peace and love and say, you know what? If you just confess that and tell him you'll take him, you go too. And just say, confess this, and you will feel so much better. And you can atone by helping other men not make the same mistake.
Yeah,
okay?
He's not able to go to confession. He was married in the church and then divorced and then remarried, and he's not interested in doing.
Oh, okay. Well, that presents another problem. Go to your pastor. Go to your priest, a priest that you like, right? go to him and just one that you know. When I say you like, you know him, so you'll feel more comfortable. And ask him the best advice for your brother. But still, he could go to God in sorrow, and okay, maybe he can't receive the sacrament, but at least it wouldn't be the perfect thing. He needs to go to confession. But ask the priest what to do about this. Tell him he needs to get married in the church. Pete's sake.
Yeah, I've tried that.
Okay, well, God love you, Juan. You're in there. You're in it to win it. And I do believe that God is using you, good man. And don't feel bad that you didn't say more. I know it's hard. We all beat ourselves up over things. But our God is a merciful God, and he will guide you in every step of the way, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Juan. God bless you. We will keep you in our prayers. We'll head now to Tampa, Florida. Nicolette is in Tampa, listening on to EWTN on iHeartRadio. Nicolette, you're on with Barbara McGuigan.
Hi, Nicolette.
Hi, how are you?
We're down to 3 minutes, so you got to be quick, okay?
All right. Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Sacrament of Reconciliation. I've heard a lot of people talk about their guilt, and they struggle with that a lot. And I wanted to share my experience real quick.
Okay, good.
Very recently, I had an amazing experience. I didn't realize that I didn't believe in the forgiveness of God. And that's why I always felt unsatisfied or that any progress in my faith. And I realized that through further education, it was through going to Bible study and learning how many times, especially in the Old Testament, that God has saved us. And the number of covenants he's tried to do with us. And if he could forgive them for all the terrible things that have happened, he can certainly forgive some of the sins that I have done. And it was really an eye-opening moment for me. And I've been able to do the Sacrament of Reconciliation and have an amazing experience with the Eucharist because of it. And I think a lot of people underestimate the power of learning the Bible and the messages it really can take into your life.
Oh, you are so well-spoken. God's going to use you, little lady. You know that?
Thank you.
Oh, he's going to use you big time. Yes, you. Oh, I'm so happy you called, Nicolette. And see, you have a beautiful testimony. And we all have a testimony of one sort or another, right? The way God has worked in our lives. I'm going to have to let you go, but thank you so much, and God's going to use you.
And God bless you, Barbara. Thanks for being so gracious with your time as always.
Oh, you too, Jack. Right back at you.
On behalf of our host, Barbara McGuigan, our producer, Elena Rodriguez, and our call screener, Matt Gabensky, I'm Jack Williams, thanking you for taking some time out of your Tuesday to join us. Back at it tomorrow, Father Mitch Pacwa back in the house, answering your questions on Scripture, church teaching, ancient languages, canon law, just about anything. Catholicism related, you can ask Father Mitch and he'll answer those questions for you. We're talking the new evangelization on Thursday with Father Larry and Colin Donovan, our Vice President of Theology, in the house on Friday. Until we get together tomorrow, God bless.